Today I'm going to show you how to replace the rear brakes and rotors on a Chrysler Town and Country 2005 or 2005 Dodge Caravan. What you're going to need, a socket wrench, a 19mm deep socket wrench for lug nuts, a 7mm hex head, preferably a hex head wrench socket, and then a C-clamp of some kind or a bar clamp to compress the pistons. Now I live in Minnesota, so I have quite a bit of rust in my car. I bought it used, but when you're jacking up the car, make sure you find the jack points. There are two of them, there's two spots right here, two tabs. You're supposed to jack in between there. Now there's a bit of debate on where you can put the jack stand after that. I found if I put it right underneath the tire in the back there, I'll show you in a minute, that's a good spot to put it. Before you lift up your car, you're going to want to loosen up those lug nuts a little bit. So what I have here is a long piece of pipe that you can go over the top of your wrench, and that gives you a little more pressure to push down, commonly referred to as a breaker bar. You see that it came off a lot easier than it would have if I'd been trying to use just my hand without the breaker bar. Now I'm going to loosen all those. And here's what I mean about the spot behind the tire. Seems to be a good spot for jack stand. It managed to hold my last one, so. And here's what I mean about loosening up the lug nuts. If you don't loosen them up, see, that one's loose, that one's loose, that one's loose, that one. Start spinning the tire. Better do this on the ground, and then make sure that you take all the lug nuts off, and you can just take the tire off real nice. You can just take the tire off gently like, and set it aside. Now here's what you have. You have the rotor. This is the rotor, this whole thing right here. This right here is the caliper. This is a clip that holds the brake pad in. This is the brake pad right here, and then there's another one back here. You can see these two things? These are the brake pad for this particular model. Now what this has in the back here, let's see if you can see it. Alright, there we go. That's a little better. Now you can see back here, this right there and that right here, those two little knobs right here, those are real rubber feet, and inside them is a hex head bolt, and that's holding these calipers on. You need to loosen that with the 7mm. So just put that hex key back on your wrench, stick it in there, and it'll fit nicely, and then just take them off, take those two off. You might have to push a little bit towards the end to get them out. You might need a screwdriver to get down right in between there to get those, to push those bolts out, because once they get all the way out, they have a hard time coming out anyway, especially if they've been in there for a while. Alright, now that you got those bolts both off, or no longer blocking anything, you can take the caliper off. So this, just gotta shake it loose a little bit and set it somewhere like that. Now those are your brake pads. Here is your rotor. That'll just come right off. If it doesn't come right off, it means that your emergency brake's on. Make sure wheels are chocked, take it off, and then you can take that caliper off. I'm not going to replace, or sorry, not the caliper, the rotor off. Now I'm not going to replace the rotor today. These are actually pretty good, although I should probably replace them, but I'm not going to today because I don't have them. I'm just going to replace the brake pads. Here's what the brake pads look like for this vehicle. They both look the same on the front, but you can tell these are very, very different. This one has, this is the front side of the rotor, and this goes on the back side of the rotor. Very easy to distinguish because of the way that they look. It's useful to have something tall to put your caliper on. I just grabbed a couple of ramps, but you can grab anything. Now these are going to come off pretty easily. The front one, you need, well, that's a little trickier. You need a screwdriver. It'll help you loosen these up. There we go. And then the other one, same. There we go. Once you can get them off of those little hooks there, they come off pretty easy. Now this one's actually pretty good, but I replaced the other brake shoe on the other wheel, so I'm going to replace these so they're the same. Now leave this one on because you have to compress the piston. And what you're going to do for that is really easy. You just take a clamp, a big C-clamp, put one end here, one in here, and compress it until it's back flush, and then you can remove the brake pad real easy. Base is all compressed. All you do is just pop that off. It's super easy. Super easy. Now all you do is you take that new brake pad, This one, it looks like this. You fit it back in. See how it's got that curve that goes down on here, so you don't know if you don't know which one side's to go. And push it back on. Can't do it one-handed. So back on, and you do the same thing with the other one. This one's, I don't remember if it's easier or not, but same thing. What you do is you just put it back on where it was, and you might need to use the screwdriver to get these, pull these clips out a little bit again, so you can wiggle them in there, and then I'll show you how to put it on the caliper. Alright, now it took me a little bit of elbow grease to get these back on, but they're back on. Now what you want to do is you want to take one of the lug nuts, put it back on the its screw, because you want the rotor to be as close to the where it's supposed to be as possible when you're trying to get this caliper back on there. So there we go. Now we just back up and over. And oh, key point here. This piece right here goes under. Sorry, so I just gotta wiggle it in there and give it a little hammer down there, and then we're good to go. Now you just put these 7mm back and put the wheel back on. Alright, they're all in there. The caliper's back on. You can take this lug nut off, get the tire back on, put them on in a star pattern, or put them all on and then tighten them in a star pattern. You're going to want to get them finger tight to start with, just tight enough, and then you're going to want to lower the car and tighten them all the way.